Hello. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 3 thoughts from Philippians chapter 1, verses 27 through 30 on a worthy life. Philippians 1, 27 through 30 says, "Only let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or am absent, I may hear of you that you are standing firm in one spirit, with one mind, striving side by side for the faith of the gospel, and not frightened in anything by your opponents. This is a clear sign to them of their destruction, but of your salvation, and that from God. For it has been granted to you that for the sake of Christ you should not only believe in him, but also suffer for his sake, engaged in the same conflict that you saw I had, and now hear that I still have." Paul is giving the church at Philippi some encouragement because they are going to be facing some persecution. He is letting them know that they can live a life worthy of the gospel, but that the life worthy of the gospel doesn't look like a life that's successful in regular worldly standards. Here are 3 thoughts on a worthy life from Philippians 1, 27 through 30. Thought number 1, do not fear men. This is one of those things that's easier to say than it is to do. Paul tells the church at Philippi that they don't need to fear their opponents, but instead they should face their opponents with boldness, knowing that even though they may suffer at their hands, that they are ultimately going to be victorious. It's always a temptation for us to fear what our opponents could do to us. But if we truly believe in what the scriptures say, then we know that we ought not fear men, but God. Man can only kill the body, but God has the power to kill the body and soul. Thought number 2, demonstrate salvation. This is one of those fun little ideas. How do you demonstrate your salvation? How are you going to go about doing that? It's tricky. You demonstrate your salvation by being faithful to the gospel, regardless of the circumstances. And here's the fun thing. When you are faithful to the gospel, regardless of circumstances, it demonstrates your salvation, but it also proves your opponents wrong. It lets them know that they are the ones who are making the mistake, because the Christian goes forward without fear, even though they have no worldly power to speak of. Thought number 3, suffering can be good. And people don't like that one either. They don't like the concept that suffering can be good. But we all know that in order for there to be growth, that suffering must take place. The old saying, no pain, no gain. When Paul writes to the church at Philippi, he lets them know that not only are these Christians called to obey the gospel, but they are called also to suffer for the sake of the gospel, just as he, Paul, has been suffering for the gospel. And if you must suffer for the gospel, you should recognize that this suffering is good, that it helps you to grow stronger in your faith. And when you grow stronger in your faith, your fear of men becomes less and less. You're able to demonstrate your salvation more and more. And you are confirmed in your belief. These 3 thoughts come to you from the reading, Philippians chapters 1 and 2. If you'd like to read through the Bible with me, you can do so by joining the Facebook group Through the Bible, where we are reading the text of Scripture together.